Hey 13, would you mind guesting with me? Would you mind guesting with me? If it's not too late for you. Because I want what we're gonna talk about. I want it to be recorded so that you can always have you use this broadcast as a reference point back to some of the points that I bring up um in your life. You can't say, oh, okay, that's fine, because we normally do broadcasts at this time. We can talk about it more in the future, but I was really hoping that I could guess with you, but I know that our time zones and all that is super off. Like, okay, so this will be one of the most intense talks that we will ever have on this channel, and I think though that this will not only benefit you, 13 Candles, but it will benefit everybody, all 30 people who are watching right now. So if you guys haven't shared this broadcast, I think that now would be the perfect time to. In fact, I'm gonna go on to my YouNow page. I'm gonna go onto my YouNow page, and I'm gonna just tell everybody in the discussion, um, um, this talk will change your life. Watch now. Okay, we'll do that. Watch now. Great. Okay, perfect. Post that. Hopefully people will come in. So 13 Candles. Here's what I want to ask you, okay? You're only 13, right? You're only 13. I remember you telling me that you're 13. Now I wanna know, because I'm not. Wait, you gotta go. Oh, Andrew. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry that you are not able to stay for this, but we will capture moments. Everybody, please capture moments, and we will also probably talk about this a lot more. Thank you, 13, for the 50 likes, and Sarah is here. How old am I? Too old. Way too old. Don't tell Sarah. Do not tell my age. Nobody knows my age on here. I want to be however anybody says. Yeah, 87. That's great. I'm 87. Which would make Sarah... How old would Sarah be? Hey, Kylie. Welcome. Great. I'm great. I'm glad you guys are here. You know my age, Grant. You won't tell. Sweet. Sweet. Okay. Alright. Now that we've got this going. Okay. Good. I like the mid-20s. Those are fun. 20. Okay, wait. We're getting off topic right here. Okay, we're getting off topic. God dang, I gotta use the bathroom. You know what? I'll hold it. We got this. Alright. So, 13. You're 13, obviously. This is one thing that I've noticed, okay? This is one thing that I've noticed. This is... Pee yourself. That should be a song. I know that we've kind of talked about... what was it? You know, like the things that had happened with Twinkie the Winky or Winkle the Twinkle. No, that sounds like I'm gonna pee. But things like that. We've talked about that on here. And one thing that I've learned is that it'll open your channel to new audience. Yeah, but it's probably not the audience that I want. Sarah, do you want to jump in on a guest queue, and then you can basically entertain them while I talk about stuff? Because this is going to be one of the most important talks that I think will have on here, and I really want to make sure you're still at work. Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Winky the Twinkie. I don't know, but the thing about it is, I watched some of your moments, 13, and you know, I just want to know, like, because in the conversation you had, it was saying that, oh, you were swearing and all that stuff, and you're 13, bro. Like, 13 to me is one of the most important ages. 13 to about maybe 15, I feel, is one of the highly critical ages that will form and shape how you are as a person for a good portion of your life. It's not to say that you'll permanently be the way you are like that. In fact, what happens in that is you are very, very, very influential. Not that it's a bad thing. It's a very good thing. And I am absolutely privileged that you have popped in on this broadcast. I am very good. You have not... Okay, great, Jody. But I'm very glad that you popped in on this broadcast, because this is probably the best broadcast for you to be on right now, because we do 3 things on here: inspire, entertain, and educate people. And right now... Okay, bye, Sarah. Headbutt. I will see you later. But right now, I'm going to teach you what inspiration, entertainment, and knowledge can do for you. And if you follow these 3 steps, because these 3 steps I have learned over the course of 5 years. It took me 5 years to learn this, and I'm going to give this to you in one broadcast. And if you can apply these 3 things in your life, in at least apply 2 of them once a day, or even 1 of them once a day, guarantee you, your world will change within 6 months to a year. It's been proven, it's been tested. I've read so many books, like this book right here, The Success Principles. This book, I've read it multiple times. You can tell I took so many notes. Every page in here looks like this, completely highlighted. I know this book inside and out. This was one of the crucial books that helped me solidify my mindset to what you see now. And I'm willing to give this information to you for free in one broadcast. The problem with doing this in a broadcast like this is you will probably only retain 20% of everything we talk about, which is why I really wanted you to jump in as a guest. That way, if you ever want to go back to this broadcast, you can always rewatch the moment that we talked about it. But that's okay, because I guarantee you, you're going to be hungry for more knowledge, and you'll want to talk about it a lot more. And every time you want, you can always feel free to guest. We will talk about it. And I guarantee you, your mindset will change, and people will respect you immensely. Now, first things first. What had happened? Hey, how's it going, Subi? Hiya. What had happened in the Twinkie Winky or whatever in that broadcast? It doesn't matter anymore. Okay, that's the past. The past is past, and we leave it there. We use it as learning tools. Now, I don't really care what age you are. I feel like it's so easy to be mean to somebody. It's so easy to be offended by somebody too. And it's so easy to swear. I can say the F word if I wanted to, but I choose not to because that's harder. And it makes it a lot more difficult in life to be kind. It's easy to be mean. It is difficult to be kind. Is he even here? Yeah, is Twinkie here? I mean, oh no, 13th is here. 13th is here. He's still here. I see him in the chat. I hope that you're listening to. I hope you're listening, 13. Okay, great. All right, do you understand that? Like, the thing that I want to see more of from anybody is to spread kindness. You know, from what I understand with your little spout that you had with the Twinkie guy, is that he offended the way you dress, your clothing, and all that. And it's understandable, you know, like at an age of where clothing, you know, materialistic goods and all that stuff, a lot of people do have that. A lot of people do have this idea that when you wear a certain type of clothing that represents you. But as you can tell, my clothes, I sew it up because I don't want to buy new clothes. I don't care about how I look. In fact, I cut my own hair to save money, and I got like these bald spots somewhere around here. But it doesn't matter to me. What matters is what goes on up here in your mind and what goes on in here in your heart. I say the quote that we have here is called loyalty before looks, which means it doesn't matter how young or old you are, fat or skinny, short or tall, if you're a boy or girl. What matters is the size of your heart and how open-minded you are to new things. And to me, that is highly critical of being a good person, of being kind, is you need to have a little bit of compassion to people. So if somebody makes fun of your clothing, you know, like it's harder to just shrug it off and be like, okay, whatever, versus somebody who jumps lying, screw you, whatever. And not just saying that, but even if somebody bullies you, you know, the mindset that I want people to have is feel really sorry for that person who bullied me, because he's probably going through a rough time and this is his only way of expressing himself. Like, let me show you an example, okay? This is an example that was shown to me a long time ago when I had to deal with bully problems, okay? So, me. Alright, here's a question for all of you guys. You see this? There's 2 lines. That's you, that's me, right? Every time I bully you, right, my line gets a little bit longer. Okay? We'll just say, there we go. So I bully you. My line's a little bit longer than yours. Now here's the question I have for all of you. Anybody can answer this. Anybody can answer this. How do you make my line shorter without touching it? How do you make my line shorter without actually touching it? Because most people will say, oh, you got to erase the line to make it shorter than your line. But I'll blow your mind right now. Can anybody tell me, how do you make this line shorter without touching it? Well, that's one way to look at it. And actually, you're right. You're right. The way you make this line shorter, you make your line longer. You be the bigger man. Exactly. Exactly. That is so good. Good job, 13. You got it. So, the thing is, being the bigger person is very difficult. It can be humiliating sometimes, especially if you feel like you're right, but you have to apologize for something you know that you probably were in the wrong, or they were in the wrong for. It doesn't matter as long as you're the bigger man. That means bullying back. Funny, Marlboro. No, but it's something that I feel people need to understand. It's like, try to be kind. As they say, love your enemy, right? Uh, you don't necessarily have to love them. You can tolerate them. You can sympathize with them. You don't have to love them. Just treat them how you want to be treated. Simple as that. But here's the three things: inspiration, motivation, knowledge, education. These are the three things that I want to see happen. Not just with you, 13, but with everybody. Subi, a good friend of ours who popped in here, said that I inspired him to be a better person because of the teachings that I give and the way that we are. And that's why I thought, a lot of people don't really understand what it means to be a grantologist, and I really want to make sure that we learn about that today. Inspiration. First thing about inspiration. Learn how to inspire other people by doing good in the world. I'll give you some stories. So, there are some stories being passed around on Facebook. What I saw was amazing. There's this girl who was 9 years old. 9 years old now. And what she did was she saw a homeless person for the first time. She saw a homeless person for the first time, and she asked him, she said, "Mommy, why is that person so dirty?" And the mom said, "Well, she doesn't have a home, and it's because she doesn't have the things that she can use to clean her up." So the gears started turning in the girl's mind. At 9 years old, what she did was she went from house to house asking for donations. And with the money that she got from that, what she did was she created something called cleanup kits for homeless people. And so she gathered all these tools and supplies together, put them in a packet, and she went around to homeless people passing out these cleanup kits. And one homeless person was so touched by it, she started crying, and she said, "I really wish I could hug you, but I just soiled myself, and I feel ashamed about that." And the girl said, "Well, there are things in here to help you clean up." And that is something that truly inspires not only me, but I'm sure it inspires a lot of people. Somebody at 9 years old able to make a difference with the homeless situation. It's not a big difference, but it is a small difference. So here's the first thing, 13. Here's what I want to know from you. Do you have allowance? Like, does your parents give you allowance? Because, hey, thank you, Infectious, for inviting all your lovely friends over to this broadcast. And thank you, Chelsea, for the 1,000 bars. I appreciate that. Let's keep this positivity going. Someday I want to be very rich and establish a kingdom and place the needy homeless. That's a great, yeah, sometimes. Okay, so here's something that I think will be will be interesting, okay? If your parents give you let's just say your parents will give you $10, okay? $10 for allowance money. But most of the time you do the work for free. That's good. That's good. Try this, okay? If your parents give you allowance, like let's just say $10, ask them for $3 in quarters, nickels, and dimes. And I want you to carry around those quarters, nickels, and dimes in your pocket wherever you go. If you see a homeless man with a sign out saying hungry or has a cup in front of him asking for change, I want you to go up to him, drop in a couple coins, and then smile at him, tell him, like, times are tough, your day's gonna get better, or say, hang in there, and walk away. Because I guarantee you, if people see you doing that, that's gonna turn some heads, and it's gonna make people respect you a lot more for doing that. Because so many people pass by homeless. I do it too sometimes. We'll pass by them, we'll see them on the street. We're too busy. We're too busy to talk to them, too busy to help them. But if they see a kid, only 13 years old, giving money to homeless people, when that kid probably only has maybe like $5 to $10 of allowance, dude, you will shake some hearts out there. You will definitely make someone. You'll definitely make people want to be a better person. That's what I say, and that's what I mean by inspire. Inspire people to do better. Even though you only have limited resources, you don't need a lot to make someone happy. Next thing, inspiration, education. Education is the next thing. Educate people. And the way to do that is by educating yourself. A lot of people will come on here, watch broadcasters beg for money, will watch people doing like idiotic things on here, like pouring mustard into their eye, or they'll have people trying to flush their toothbrush in the toilet and see if they get salmonella. It's very discouraging to me to see how low the bar of entertainment has been. But go on YouTube, okay? Go on YouTube and type in topics that probably won't be typed into a lot of people. Type in things like how to be a better person, 5 things to improve my attitude. If you type in things like that and you watch maybe one video a day on how to be inspirational, how to be motivational, how to think better, you will definitely see an outcome in your life. You will see the change that will happen, and you won't do anything. It's just because of the intake of information that you're watching. You are the product of the 6 people you hang out with the most. And sometimes, now that we are so distant in life, there are people online who you hang out with more in real life, and the people you watch on YouTube and the people you watch on YouNow will definitely motivate you to... I'm glad. Yes! That is good. 13, you win the lottery for being a good candidate. I was wondering about that. I wasn't going to tell you. To. But highly successful people in life take notes. Highly successful people. They say that if you go into like a meeting and the boss is talking, majority of the people will sit there and listen. But there's going to be 1 out of every maybe like 10 people who will have a pen and paper taking notes. And guess what? Those people are more likely to run the company than to work for it. Good job. Good job. You got it. I'm proud of you. I told you. See, like, I don't give this information out to everybody because I know not everybody will appreciate it. I only pick and choose certain people who I feel are worthy of this, and those are you guys, the Grantologists, and I wanted to focus on 13 because I know that he's a good kid. You know, like, you might swear, you know, there might be drama that may be around you, but deep down, Jesus, I know that you're a good kid. Everybody, can I get a hashtag 13 cheers? You surprised me. You surprised me. I was going to say, at the very end of it, I was going to say, now, did you take any notes? I was going to ask you that. And I was expecting you to say no, but you were one step ahead of me, and you're actually taking notes. Damn, man. That is good. That is amazing. How many other people are taking notes? Probably no one. Probably no one. But I did say that this was going to be one of the most important talks on the broadcast. You have done an amazing job, 13. I chose right. See, even if Selena's here. Yes, I talked with Selena last night, and I said I'm willing to give this talk to him because I feel deep down he's a good kid, and I know that something good will come of it. I'm right. You guys, oh my god, dude. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel happy, 13. You actually made me happy for doing this. And I tell you, I spent I was up until like 3 thinking about what to say. And now it comes full circle. It does come full circle. Anyways, back to the educational process. Like I said, education. Learn things. I will tell you, if you want, I can give you recommendations on books, what to read. Books like this, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is a good one. This is also a good one. Who Moved My Cheese? It's a book. It's a story that was written by a college professor, and he turned it into a book. And it talks about how to cope with breaking out of your comfort zone. So many things on here. So many things on here will help you. Anyways, okay. So inspiration, knowledge, or not inspiration, knowledge. Knowledge is one of the key things. You will learn things in school, and I can tell you right now that what you're learning right now on this broadcast, you will never learn in school, because I never did. Nobody teaches this kind of stuff. Nobody teaches this in school. They teach you textbook things. They teach you what to study if you want to go on Jeopardy, but they don't teach you how to be a better person. Thank you, Wolfpack, for becoming a fan. I appreciate that. That's right. And the thing too is, like I said, I've learned this through the course of maybe 10 to 5 years in my life. Uh, if you just wrote the word notes on paper. But yeah, so the second one is to, what do you call? Welcome back, Dorian. Second one is knowledge. And, the thing, too, is I'm glad that you are coming back here. Because not only is this a positive broadcast, this is also a very informative one. And sometimes people don't even realize it. They pass right through this broadcast thinking we're just talking about mumbo jumbo. And they don't even realize what we're talking about. But that's how quickly the internet moves. And it moves so fast that people are just not even there. They're not even coherent. So that's the second one, knowledge. YouTube is the biggest archive in the world. The biggest archive of information, historical facts, anything and everything you want to learn is on YouTube. But what do most people watch on there? They watch like funny cats doing stupid things. They watch cats that get scared of cucumbers when they're put next to them. But yet, they don't think, why wouldn't I want to learn about Nikola Tesla? And how he was smarter than Thomas Edison? What did Albert Einstein go through as a kid? You can learn all of these things on YouTube. You can learn about all the struggles that Sylvester Stallone went through by watching videos on him, his interviews. You can learn about how... Okay, check this out. Okay, I saw this on Facebook, actually. There's a 12-year-old kid. 12 years old. There's a 12-year-old kid who invented his own power generator out of coffee cans and like $15 worth of home appliances. He's a genius. He's a kid. He says he likes wearing his science lab around the house because that helps him think. And he's making energy. He's making energy out of coffee cans and household appliances. And he's like only 12. He's 1 year younger than you. And his whole mission in life is to make the world a better place. And that's what I feel this broadcast is meant to do. This broadcast is not meant to change lives, but it's just meant to leave the world in a little bit better place than I found it. And that's what I aspire all of you guys to do. All 38 people watching. I want you guys to try these tips, these 3 things, because I always say it every single time. Inspire, entertain, and educate people. We need to learn what that means. And that's what this broadcast is for. So, education. That's kind of like what I want you guys to do. Educate yourself. Make yourself think for yourselves. Don't just mindlessly follow what people talk about on here. Question them. Have debates. Debates are one of the best ways to learn new things. Because if we were to debate about something, just know that it's not anything personal. What it is I have an opinion, you have an opinion, and maybe our opinions together can help us come to a conclusion that we could not alone. So encourage debate. Encourage debate, not arguing. Encouraging debate. I don't know if I should drop out and do YouNow and YouTube. I would say stay with school. Because at the end of the day, you will need your education. You will need your education. There's a lot of things that I wish that I remembered back from high school that I didn't even think about. And now that I'm older, it's a lot harder to know. So take advantage of what you have in school. Take advantage of the knowledge that you have right in front of you. There's knowledge that's being given to you for free, and you basically get a meal a day. And if you need help, there are people there to tutor you. There's so much potential in schooling, but you just gotta know where to look. A lot of people will look at school. There's this one kid who came on here, and he was like talking about like, oh, I hate school, I hate homework. But you know what? Homework is repetition. Homework is repetition, and the only way you can learn something is through repetition. The way that I am right now is through repetition of being a kind person. It's a different type of knowledge, but it's knowledge nonetheless. Like, you need your education. You need to learn about history, about science, about math, about English. That's a good thing to learn. But what we teach here on this channel of Grantology, what we teach is not that kind of thing. We teach a different type of education. We teach positive education. We teach kindness education. Oh, okay, Amanda, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm sorry you have to go. We will talk about this a lot more. But, everybody, please say goodbye to Amanda with a headbutt to the camera. Thank you so much for stopping by. It means a lot to me. It does mean a lot to me. Right. Here's one thing. It's all about your mindset. 13 Cheers, if you can alter your mindset into thinking that you want to learn, you will find that school is a magical place and you will learn so much more. You will learn so much faster too. And that's what education does. So that's why I say watch these videos about how to be a positive person, how to be a kind person, how to be, educate yourself on maybe once a week. Think of like a historical person who did something for the world and watch a documentary on that. Spend an hour watching a documentary on Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla or Leonardo da Vinci. You know, watch documentaries on that and then get excited to learn about what's next. That's the way to change your mindset. And so when you go to school, guess what you can do? If you have to write a report about a famous person, you could do it on whoever you watched. It'll be that much easier because now you're passionate about what you're learning. Passion and knowledge, or passion and education, should go hand in hand. But the problem is so many teachers will force education on you that people don't want to be there. That's the problem with the teaching society, is it's only lecturing. What about experimentation? What about discovery? If you can find a way to ignite passion in someone, they will learn 10 times faster. I guarantee it. I guarantee you they will. So, I hope that makes sense. That's why I say stick to your education, keep learning, keep staying in school until you graduate. And it doesn't mean you can't start a YouTube channel and a YouNow thing at the same time as school. In fact, what you could do, instead of just being like every other broadcaster and coming on here and being like, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Why don't you come on here and do your broadcast about what you learned in school? Or how about tell people about what you did that benefited somebody? Like, say like, hey, you know, I just wanted to talk about my day today. Today I saw a homeless man and I gave him some money, and then some lady bought me food, you know? I mean, you might inspire somebody to help you out when you need help. That to me would be truly amazing. Best thing you could do, watch those Chinese commercials. Have you ever seen those commercials? They're like the Chinese commercials that have like that basically make you cry because it's so amazingly like powerful. You guys know what I'm talking about? Donated $5 at charity. There you go, man. There you go. Okay, well, so example would be there's basically these videos. I don't really know what they're called, but there's basically these videos. Like a great one would be there are these three old ladies. There are these three old ladies sitting at a park, right? They're sitting at a park. First old lady is like telling them, "Oh yeah, my son is a lawyer. You know, he's making so much money. He rarely has time to see me because." Oh, okay, Tiara. Thank you so much. Have a good one. I hope you learned something. Everybody, headbutt. See you later. Today is going great, and we're even more fantastic. But the story was like this old lady who was like saying, like, "Oh yes, you know, my son is a wealthy lawyer. All right, grantologist, cool. I will see you later. Bye, headbutt." Sorry, I gotta keep her story. She's like, "My son is a wealthy lawyer and he makes a lot of money, but he rarely has time to see me because he's always so busy handling cases." And then the next old lady is like, "Oh, well, my son is a doctor, and not only does he rarely have time to see me, he never has any time to see me because he's making twice as much as your son because he's so wealthy with all his patients." And then the third lady, she says, "Well, my son lives a block and a half away from me. He works a 9-to-5 job. He doesn't make a lot, but he has a happy family." And then what happens is a van pulls up, and then her son comes out, and she's like, "Mom, come on." And then she just gets up, and she's like, "Oh, my son." And then what the message was is, you know, you don't have to make a lot of money because what'll happen, you know, like what happens in the end, you lose time with family. And so that to me, yeah, it's hitting me. But it's one of those things where it shows that you need to take care of the people that are closest to you. That is one of them. That to me, that was one of my favorite. Another one that it is definitely it's a powerful one. Right, and that's why I say we are family here, because we really are. We are a community that is very loving, very kind, very welcoming, and there's a reason why no other YouTube community or YouNow community is out there. Right, is because we have this connection, and it took me 10 years to learn all of this and to put it together into one broadcast. So there was 10 years of practice to get to where we are now. Oh, good night, Diana. Have a good one, headbutt. I will see you on the next broadcast. Another great one. Oh, let me just finish. Let me just finish the ending of it. So, two things. First one was inspiration. You know, give money to homeless people, make people, or not? Was it inspiration? Inspiration. What was it? Inspire. Yeah, inspire. First one was inspire. Hey Shishimaru, welcome. Good to see you again. Second one was education. Educate yourself every single day, even if it's only for like 5 minutes. If you have time to watch TV, go online and watch okay, so look up instead of train yourself to look for intellectual videos that make you think. That is what my challenge to you is. But finally, entertain. Entertaining to me is one of the most important things. One of the most important things. You gave like $20 to a homeless person a month. Nice, very nice. Entertain, and sometimes it doesn't have to be money. You don't money is just a bare example. Here's a great example of a way. This is a great example of a way to give to someone other than money. So, one of our fellow grantologists who has been on here since 5 years. 5 years ago, I met her. She is one of the loveliest people in the world. Her name was Jasmine, and what she told me one day was she had a great day, and I asked her why, and she says somebody gave her a sweater back. I was like, what do you mean gave you a sweater back? And she says, well, it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, she found that it was basically, it gets cold where she lives, and she found this homeless guy who was almost freezing outside. And what she did was she used her allowance money to buy him a hoodie. She bought this homeless guy a hoodie, and she gave it to him and said, here, use this to keep you warm. And apparently what had happened was 5 years later, the homeless man found her, and he said, here, I don't need this anymore. And he gave her the hoodie back. And he said, ever since you did that, you helped me get out of my rut, and you basically gave me the motivation to get my life back again. Yeah, powerful, right? So you never know what type of impact you make on this world. Whew! Hey, it's emotional with Granochita. But yeah, it is definitely something that, it's not a long story too. It's not an amazing story, but it's a story nonetheless. I had this one guy, he emailed me too. He emailed me, what was it? I think it was back when YouTube started 10 years ago. When I started my YouTube channel, there was this one kid who subscribed to me, and he would always comment on my videos, and he would ask me to check out his videos, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll check out your videos. And I wasn't really thinking too much of it. And I'd go to his videos, and it's just some little kid playing around, and so I type in LOL funny, great video, keep them coming. And eight years later, after he went off YouTube, he messaged me on Instagram, and he said, hey Grant, I don't know if you remember me, but I was Aquatic Boy, back on YouTube when I was in elementary school. You used to comment on my videos, and it made me really happy. I don't make YouTube videos anymore, but I'm now a dancer, and you have always been and still are an inspiration to me. And that was 8 years later. 8 years later, I inspired him to be a dancer, and I don't even dance. But the thing is, even if I didn't really truly appreciate his videos, by just telling him to keep going, he ended up getting that inspiration, and he took it to heart, and now he's a dancer. He's in high school right now. And I watch him on Instagram, and he does all these dance and pop and lock moves, and it's great. So, inspire people, You never know who you're gonna inspire. The ripples in the waves that you make can turn into giant waves. You just gotta make sure you keep doing it. But anyways, finally, entertaining people. This to me is the most important thing. This is the most important thing out of all of them. Because you can inspire people, you can educate yourself and educate others. But at the same time, if you don't do it in an entertaining way, and if you don't, and like, entertaining is not just performing. Entertaining is listening. If I can, that's why they say, would you entertain me by being would you entertain an audience? The people in the audience entertain the performer. And for you, I would say, if you can basically listen to people. Some people hear words, but they won't truly know what they're saying. Like, example would be, if you know that typical thing where you meet somebody and then you're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" and they're like, "Oh, I'm fine." Clearly they're not fine. But if you're only listening to the words, you will not know if they're fine or not. But you listen to them. You really listen to them. And you hear the undertones. Because nobody really says what they mean. Nobody really says what they mean. And when you hear that they're not fine, it is your job now to entertain them in a way that will make them fine. You don't have to tell them, "Hey, cheer up," but you can do things without actually, right, exactly, active listening. That's a form of entertainment. Because you can basically make them happy without them even realizing it. You know? You can make them happy without even realizing it. And here's a great example of that. So, there's a story about a man who was feeling depressed. He was actually very suicidal. And he said that he went to a party out of, like, he basically just was like, he didn't care. He just went to this random party. And he said that some random person looked at him, realized he wasn't fine, and gave him a hug. And that person just left. And he said that he was so inspired by that he changed his outlook on life. And if you guys remember the free hugs thing, the free hugs phenomenon that went around the world, where everybody holds up a sign saying free hugs, it was because one person noticed in a crowded room that there was one person in that room that was not having a good day. That person made it their job to go up to them, give them a hug, left them, not knowing that it would start ripples amongst the world. That is entertainment. That's how you entertain people. What I do on here, it's a form of entertainment. But what I'm really doing is I'm listening to all of you. I'm reading what you guys are saying. I'm understanding what you guys want me to talk about, what you guys want to hear. It's because that is the truest form of entertainment. Entertainment is listening. So those are the three principles that we run this channel by. Inspiration, and inspire, entertain, and educate people. With those three combined, we promote positivity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grantologists of all ages, is my talk. I'd like to call that a dose of positivity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you guys use this as a way to inspire others. And like I said, if you guys want to support this show, the best thing you can do is communicate with us in the chat.